I welcome you all. Good evening to all of you. I welcome you all to the 452nd session of Telangana Jana Vedika. I welcome Dr. Professor M.D. Bavaya Garu and I thank him for accepting our invitation to speak on a very important subject today. And I also thank our Hyderabad chapter convener, Manoj Reddy, for inviting and bringing Bavaya Garu, senior most economist and well-versed in the policy matters and all, economic policies and all. So I welcome him, and before taking, I don't want to take much of your time. I request our associate and senior member, Professor Dr. James Prashant, to speak on this and introduce the subject and introduce Professor Bavaya Garu to you all of there to the forum and introduce the subject. Thank you. James, please continue.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good evening. I welcome everyone for the 452nd session of Telangana Jana Vedika's forum on this Sunday. Our topic today is Sustainable Goals in India, Issues and Challenges. At the outset, I would like to thank Ms. Swati Mishra for preparing this note for this introduction. With the global economy experiencing inflation, the broad focus has been towards strengthening of growth by anchoring fiscal policy to medium-term sustainability, which necessitates reorienting public expenditure towards growth-enhancing capital, particularly for countries with limited fiscal space. The overall objective is to entrench macroeconomic stability by harvesting benefits from medium-term growth. The Addis Ababa Action Agenda 2015 ended the 15-year window for achieving Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, and provided a global framework for financing sustainable development. The United Nations General Assembly on September 25th, 2015, adopted a new set of Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and 169 associated targets, which are to be achieved by 2030. While the MDGs were described as the greatest anti-poverty push in history, the SDGs are envisaged as agents for transforming the world, addressing people, the planet, peace, prosperity, and partnership. The SDGs embrace the view that development needs to be economically, socially, and environmentally sustainable. In India, the responsibility for overseeing SDG implementation has been assigned to the National Institution for Transforming India, Niti Aayog, which has mapped goals and targets to various nodal ministries as well as flagship programs. Draft indicators for tracking the SDGs have been developed and placed in the public domain by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation for wider consultation. State and union territories are taking proactive steps to align its development priorities with the SDG framework as per national and regional consultations, but more has to be done to reduce wide subnational disparities in order to foster human and economic development in the nation. The Indian economy has been undergoing structural transformation over the past 3 decades as it steps up its trajectory of growth, with its average GDP growth rising from 5.5% during the 1990s to about 7% during the 2001-2018, and the current projection is 8.2%. Yet, its progress with respect to the Human Development Index, HDI, score has been modest, especially in education and health. Investment in these sectors is critical for enhancing the effectiveness of income distribution policies and reaping the demographic dividend. The investment required, however, is substantial. In particular for India, the social investment required for implementing the SDG agenda could be up to 10% of the gross domestic product. India ranks 113th of 149 countries with a score of 58.1 on the SDG Performance Index, underlining the serious need for concerted efforts to achieve the goals. India's progress towards the 17 SDG targets is uneven across goals, with the individual SDG indices ranging from 33.1 to 93.4. While India fares well in terms of eliminating poverty, responsible consumption and production, and climate action, among others, its score remains below 50 with regard to eliminating hunger, gender equality, and infrastructure. While India, in South Asian countries, has had the highest road infrastructure, its spending on education and health during 2016-20 was below the world average. Currently, there is an acute lack of balance in the allocation of public social expenditure between recurring costs and asset creation on one hand, and the disproportionate preemption by salary and maintenance expenditure on the other. Access to water and sanitation, electricity, roads has greatly improved, but still is a privilege. Nonetheless, to further capitalize on economic growth, India should continue to close gaps in human and physical capital, gaps that have recently widened as a result of the pandemic. Indeed, after years of steady progress during the COVID-19 pandemic, health and education systems have been further disrupted. Poverty has increased and the prevalence of undernourishment has risen, according to the UN 2021 and the FIO 2021. Investing in human capital has now become a global priority. Human capital development is investment intensive and returns might not be immediate, but has to be prioritized. It is critical to persevere the fiscal consolidation while channelizing spending towards SDGs. This is a most important topic concerning the well-being and future of our community and the global community. To speak on this highly complex topic, we are most honored to have a distinguished academic, Professor M.D. Bhavaiah, in our midst. Professor M.D. Bhavaiah is from the Department of Economics, Sri Krishnadevara University. He specializes in the field of economics and is an MA, MPhil, and PhD in the subject. He has served in the top-level positions of Sri Krishnadevara University. He has published 46 research articles and is a co-author of 9 books and has been invited for 65 lectures. He has 30 years of teaching and 15 years of administrative experience. Under his guidance, 8 students were awarded PhDs and 6 MPhils were awarded. He was the team leader for Vereda District Integrated Development Studies, WIDS Lot 3 project funded by the World Bank and supervised by the Ethiopian Roads Authority, Government of Ethiopia. We are very happy and honored to have Professor Bhavaiah in our midst, and we are really looking forward to hear his views on this very complex topic. Now, before I hand over the floor to our moderator, as per our tradition at TJV, I would like to read the preamble of our Constitution. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Now, I would like to hand over the floor to the moderator. Thank you.
One small correction, Professor Bavaya is also a visiting professor in the Central University, Anantapur. He's been assigned to teach economics there. That's a proud moment for all of us also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Telangana Jana Vedika Zoom online meeting కు వచ్చేసినటువంటి ప్రొఫెసర్ బావయ్య గారికి మరియు వేదిక సభ్యులు మిత్రులందరికీ స్వాగతం. ఇవాల్టి అంశం భారతదేశంలో సుస్థిర అభివృద్ధి గమ్యాలు, చర్చనీయాంశాలు, సవాళ్లు అనేటువంటి అంశం మీద మనం ఇవాల్టి టాపిక్ ఎన్నుకోవడం జరిగింది. ముఖ్యంగా సస్టైనబుల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ అంటే ప్రధానంగా ఎన్విరాన్మెంటల్ సస్టైనబుల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ గురించి మనం ఎక్కువగా మాట్లాడుకుంటుంటాం. కానీ ఇవాల్టి అంశం ప్రధానంగా ఆ ఫిజికల్ సస్టైనబుల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ గురించి ఈ రోజు మనం డిస్కస్ చేసుకోబోతున్నాం అని చెప్పేసి నేను అనుకుంటున్నాను. భారతదేశానికి స్వతంత్రం వచ్చి 75 సంవత్సరాలు గడుపుతున్నప్పటికీ కూడా ఇప్పటికీ కూడా భారతదేశము డెవలపింగ్ కంట్రీగానే ఉండడానికి గల ప్రధానమైనటువంటి కారణాలు మనము ఇవాళ సెషన్ లో కూడా చర్చించుకోవాల్సినటువంటి అంశం ఉంది. ముఖ్యంగా ఈ దేశం లోపల పేదరికం కానీ, నిరక్షరాస్యత కానీ ఇంకా అలాగే ఉంది అని చెప్పేసి చెప్పడంలో ఏమాత్రం సందేహం లేదు. అయితే మన దగ్గర ఫిజికల్ సస్టైనబుల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ కి సంబంధించినటువంటి విషయాలు కనుక చూసినట్లయితే గత 75 సంవత్సరాలుగా భారతదేశము కొద్ది మేరకు అభివృద్ధి చెందినట్టుగా కనబడుతున్నప్పటికీ కూడా ఇంకా థర్డ్ వరల్డ్ కంట్రీ కిందనే మనం ఉండడం మనం ఆలోచించవలసినటువంటి అంశంగా మనం భావించవచ్చు. ముఖ్యంగా ఈ దేశం లోపల ప్రధానంగా భారతదేశం ఇప్పటికీ 100 లక్షల కోట్ల మేరకు అప్పుల్లో ఉండగా, తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం 4 లక్షల కోట్లు, ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్లో 5 లక్షల కోట్ల మేరకు అప్పుల్లో ఉంది. అంటే మరి ఇది ఏ రకమైనటువంటి అభివృద్ధిగా మనం చూడాలి? సరే, ఎన్విరాన్మెంటల్ సస్టైనబిలిటీ అంటే మనము ఏదైనా అడవులను కానీ లేదా కాలుష్యం కానీ జరిగినటువంటి దాన్ని నివారించేటువంటి ప్రయత్నం చేస్తే దాన్ని సస్టైన్ చేయడానికి అవకాశం ఉంటుంది సుస్థిర అభివృద్ధి వైపు. కానీ ఇక్కడ ప్రభుత్వాలు అనేటువంటి పెద్ద ఎత్తున విదేశాల నుండి, విదేశ బ్యాంకు IMF నుండి కానీ, వరల్డ్ బ్యాంక్ నుండి కానీ లక్షలాది కోట్ల రూపాయలను అప్పులు తీసుకొచ్చేసి ఇవాళ ప్రతి ఒక్క వ్యక్తి మీద సుమారుగా 2 లక్షల రూపాయలు అప్పుగా ఉంది. అంటే దీన్ని బట్టి మనము ఆలోచించవలసినటువంటి అవసరం ఉంది. సో అదేవిధంగా ఈ దేశం లోపల RBI కానీ, ఫైనాన్స్ కమిషన్ కానీ, C&AG కానీ, లేదా ఈ మధ్యలో వచ్చినటువంటి నీతి ఆయోగ్ కానీ ఈ సస్టైనబుల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ కోసం ఏ రకమైనటువంటి ప్రయత్నాలు చేస్తున్నటువంటి అంశం మీద మనము ఇవాల్టి అంశం లోపల మాట్లాడుకుంటామని తెలియజేస్తూ, భారతదేశంలో సుస్థిర అభివృద్ధి గమ్యాలు, చర్చనీయాంశాలు, సవాళ్ళు అనేటువంటి అంశం పైన ప్రొఫెసర్ MD బావయ్య గారు డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఎకనామిక్స్ లో వారు శ్రీకృష్ణదేవరాయ యూనివర్సిటీలో అనంతపూర్లో వారు పనిచేశారు. సుమారుగా వారు 46 రీసెర్చ్ ఆర్టికల్, 9 బుక్స్ కోర్ ఎడిటర్ గాను, 30 సంవత్సరాల టీచింగ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ గాను వాళ్ళు పనిచేయడం జరిగింది. ముఖ్యంగా వారి కింద 8 మంది PhD కంప్లీట్ చేశారు. MPhil 6 కంప్లీట్ చేయడం అనేటువంటి జరిగింది. వారు యూనివర్సిటీ లోపల అనేకమైనటువంటి పరిపాలనా పదవులను, అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటివ్ పొజిషన్స్ కూడా వారు చేయడం అనేటువంటి జరిగింది. వారు ఈ అంశం మీద మాట్లాడవలసిందిగా ప్రొఫెసర్ MD బావయ్య గారిని సాదరంగా ఆహ్వానిస్తున్నాను. ప్రొఫెసర్ బావయ్య గారు.
Sir, please unmute yourself, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Sir, you want to do any screen sharing want to do any PowerPoint presentation?
Sir?
మీరు ఏమైనా PowerPoint presentation చేస్తారా సార్?
కొద్దిగా ఉంటాయి సార్.
Okay, I'll allow you to share the screen.
అవి కూడా ఉంటాయి. ఎందుకంటే కొన్ని పవర్ పాయింట్స్, కొన్ని ఒపీనియన్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్లే ఉంటాయి కాబట్టి ఇబ్బంది ఏం లేదు. ఓకే సార్. అంటే మెజారిటీ పీపుల్ మొబైల్ లో ఉంటారేమో, అందువల్ల ఎక్కువగా డిస్కషన్ ఉంటది పవర్ పాయింట్ కంటే.
నో ఇష్యూస్.
ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు చాలా వేదికల్లో చూస్తున్నాం, మన గవర్నమెంట్ ఇచ్చిన డేటా అందరి దగ్గర ఉంటుంది, బట్ హౌ బెస్ట్ వీఆర్ అనలైజింగ్ దట్ డేటా అనేది మనకి ఇంపార్టెంట్.
షూర్.
అది సో ఫస్ట్ ఏమంటే నాకు చాలా ఆనందంగా ఉంటుంది మీతో షేర్ చేసుకోవడానికి. తెలంగాణ జన వేదిక అనే ఒక వేదికను ఏర్పాటు చేయడము, సీనియర్ సిటిజన్స్ గా చాలా మందిని అందులో పార్టిసిపేట్ చేయించడం నాకు అత్యంత ఆనందదాయకమైన విషయం. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ ఫర్ యువర్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ అండ్ ఆల్సో ఇన్వాల్వ్మెంట్ అండ్ ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ యువర్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్. ఎందుకంటే రిటైర్ అయిపోతున్నాము అంటే చాలా మంది ఇంకా ఏం అవసరం లేదు, ఇంటికే పరిమితం అయిపోదాం అనుకుంటారు. బట్ మీరు అలా కాకుండా రిటైర్ అయిన వాళ్ళందరినీ ఇంకో రకంగా వేదిక మీదకి తీసుకురావడము, వాళ్ళ ఐడియాస్ని షేర్ చేసుకోవడం, ఇటువంటి కార్యక్రమాన్ని చేపట్టడం వల్ల చాలా మందికి ఆ ఛాన్స్ వస్తుంది. సో అలాంటి ఛాన్స్ ఇస్తున్నందుకు మీ వేదిక సభ్యులందరికీ పేరు పేరున నేను ధన్యవాదాలు తెలుపుకుంటున్నాను మొదటిగా. ఎందుకంటే ఇటువంటివి ఇప్పుడు చాలా అవసరం ఉంది. మేము కూడా రాయలసీమ జనవేదికని ఏర్పాటు చేద్దామా అనే ఒక ఆలోచన వచ్చేటట్టుగా మీ వేదిక మాకు కొంత ప్రోత్సాహాన్ని ఇస్తుంది అని చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. అది పక్కన పెడితే ఈరోజు మన కాన్సెప్ట్కి వస్తే, నేను ఎందుకు సస్టైనబుల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ గోల్స్ అని సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోవడం జరిగింది అంటే, ప్రతి ఒక్కరూ దాని మీద చర్చించుకుంటున్నారు కానీ రియాలిటీని ఎక్కువగా ఫోకస్ చేయడం. సో ఆ రియల్గా నేను అబ్జర్వ్ చేసిన వాటిని మీ ముందు ఉంచాలనే ఉద్దేశంతో నేను ఈ టాపిక్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకున్నాను. సో అబ్జర్వేషన్స్ మీదే ఎక్కువ కామెంట్స్ ఉంటాయి కానీ గవర్నమెంట్ ఫ్యాక్ట్స్ మీద కానీ గవర్నమెంట్ డేటా మీద కానీ ఎక్కువ ఉండదు. సో లెట్ మీ స్టార్ట్ షేర్ ది presentation just for item sake. సో కనబడుతుంది సార్?
Yes, it is visible. It is
Okay,
visible,
okay.
sir.
మనకి సస్టైనబుల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ గోల్స్ అనేటివి, there are 17 goals. The UNDP set 17 goals for the world future, which will be completed by 2030. So the period of sustainable development goals is 15 years, starting from 2016 January, ending with December 2030. So total 15 years they have selected as the goal period for sustainable development goals. దీన్ని మనము లాంగ్ టర్మ్ ప్లాన్ అని చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. మామూలుగా మనకు ప్లానింగ్ కమిషన్ ఉన్నప్పుడు 5 year ప్లాన్స్ వేసేవాళ్ళు. కాకపోతే యుఎన్డిపి వాళ్ళందరూ 15 years 25 years లాంగ్ టర్మ్ ప్లాన్సే పెట్టుకుంటారు. సో దీనికంటే ముందు మనకు మిలీనియం డెవలప్మెంట్ గోల్స్ అని వచ్చాయి. సో మిలీనియం డెవలప్మెంట్ గోల్స్ 2019 నుంచి 2015 వరకు 25 years టార్గెట్ పెట్టుకొని చేశారు. సస్టైనబుల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ గోల్స్ 15 years కి పరిమితం. ఈ డెవలప్మెంట్ గోల్స్ వెనకాల 169 డీటెయిల్డ్ టార్గెట్స్ సెట్ చేసి పెట్టున్నారు. అంటే ఒక్కొక్క గోల్ కింద కొన్ని టార్గెట్స్, ఒక్కొక్క కంట్రీలో ఒక్కొక్క రకమైన డేటా ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి డేటాను బట్టి టార్గెట్స్ వేరే రకంగా ఉంటాయి. 169 టార్గెట్స్ ఉంటాయి. నెగోషియేటెడ్ ఓవర్ ఏ 2-year పీరియడ్ అట్ ది యునైటెడ్ నేషన్స్ లెవెల్. సో 2 years పీరియడ్లో చాలా వరకు కంట్రీస్తో నెగోషియేట్ చేసి ఈ డెవలప్మెంట్ టార్గెట్స్ని ఫిక్స్ చేసుకోవడానికి, గోల్స్ని ఫిక్స్ చేసుకోవడానికి అన్ని కంట్రీస్ ఒప్పందాన్ని తీసుకోవడానికి ప్రయత్నం జరిగింది. సో మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది కంట్రీస్ ఆర్ అగ్రీడ్ on 25th September 2015 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. So Addis Ababa is a national capital city of Ethiopia, and it is capital city for 108 country embassies. The largest number of country embassies are there in Addis Ababa city in the world. Because it is the capital city of African Union. At the same time, it is the capital city of United Nations for Africa, UNECA, Economic Commission for Africa. So because of that reason, United Nations, the agenda for sustainable development took place in Addis Ababa city. So in September 2015, they were agreed and signed by all the member countries of the United Nations. So what is the agenda for this is that sustainable development goals should be universally applicable to economies. So the universality is explained by the United Nations as first and most important, these goals apply to every nation and every section, cities, businesses, schools, organizations, and all are challenged to act. This is called universality. So UN ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ఉద్దేశం ఏమంటే ఈ గోల్స్ ని సాధించాలి అంటే ఒక ప్రభుత్వమే ముందుంటే సరిపోదు. ప్రభుత్వంతో పాటు చాలా సెక్టార్లు, చాలా రంగాలు ఇందులో భాగస్వాములు కావాలి, స్టేక్ హోల్డర్స్ గా పనిచేయాలి. ఇది రూరల్ ఏరియాస్ తో పాటు, సిటీస్ తో పాటు, బిజినెస్ సెక్టార్స్ తో పాటు, స్కూల్స్, తర్వాత ఎన్జిఓ సెక్టార్ అందరూ కలిసి పనిచేస్తేనే ఇది సాధించేదానికి వీలవుతుంది అని యుఎన్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ డిసైడ్ చేసి దీనికి యూనివర్సాలిటీ అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ ద్వారా తీసుకొచ్చారు. Then second, it is organized that the goals are all interconnected. In a system, we cannot aim to achieve just one goal. We must achieve them all. This is called integration. మనకు 17 goals అని చెప్పిండేటివి కూడా ఏవి కూడా ఒక్కదానికొకటి కనెక్షన్ లేకుండా లేవు. ప్రతిదీ ఇంటర్ కనెక్షన్ అయింది. ఒక గోల్తో పాటు ఇంకొక గోల్ కనెక్షన్ అయింది. అంటే ఒక గోల్ని మనం సాధించాలంటే ఇంకొక గోల్ని కూడా సాధించాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంటుంది. అట్లా చాలా గోల్స్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ 17 గోల్స్లో ఒకదానికొకటి ఇంటర్ కనెక్షన్ ఉన్నాయి. సో ఆ ఇంటర్ కనెక్షన్ ఉండే దానివల్ల మనం దీన్ని ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ లాగా తీసుకోవాలి. సో ఒక గోల్ను మనం అచీవ్ కావాలంటే ఆటోమేటిక్గా అన్ని గోల్స్ను అచీవ్ అయినప్పుడే అది ఫుల్ఫిల్ అయ్యేదానికి ఛాన్స్ ఉంది. సో బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ రీజన్ the sustainable development goals are called integrated goals. Then finally, they said, it is widely recognized that achieving these goals involves making big fundamental changes in how we live in Earth. This is called transformation. So UN finally says, whatever the implementation policies, whatever the activities that we do to achieve the goals, we have to follow some fundamental changes in the economic sectors and social sectors and all other activities on the earth. So this is what they termed as transformation. So every activity should be visible and transformed to all the people. Everybody should know it. So universality, integration, and transformation, these three are the basis for the development goals. Then let us see one by one. We will go to take tour of it. with the same photographs given by UN organization. The first one is end poverty in all its forms everywhere. So here we need to discuss. So what type of poverty is there? From the beginning, when we read many textbooks and many articles, there are two types of poverty. One is absolute poverty, the other one is relative poverty. సో అబ్సల్యూట్ పావర్టీ అంటేమో మనకు వరల్డ్ హెల్త్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ వాళ్ళు ఒక డెఫినేషన్ ఇచ్చారు. అర్బన్ ఏరియాస్లో అయితే 2100 క్యాలరీస్ శక్తిని ఇచ్చే ఆహారాన్ని ఒక వ్యక్తి తీసుకోవాలి. రూరల్ ఏరియాస్లో అయితే 2400 క్యాలరీస్ ఇచ్చే శక్తిని ఇచ్చే ఆహారాన్ని తీసుకోవాలి. దాన్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని ఏ ఆహార పదార్థాలు కామన్ గా వాడుతున్నారు ప్రజలు అనే దాన్ని తీసుకొని ఒక్కొక్క ఆహార పదార్థానికి ఎంత శక్తినిచ్చే కెపాసిటీ ఉంది అని క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసి యావరేజ్ గా దీనికి ఒక మానిటరీ వాల్యూని తయారు చేస్తుంది. వరల్డ్ హెల్త్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ వాళ్ళు ఇచ్చిన కిలో క్యాలరీస్ డెఫినేషన్ ని ఆ వాడే వస్తువులను బట్టి ఒక్కొక్క దేశంలో ఒక్కొక్క రకమైన ఆహార వస్తువులు ఉంటాయి. అన్ని దేశాల్లో ఒకే రకమైన వస్తువులు ఉండవు. సో ప్రతి దేశంలోనూ వాళ్ళు వాడే వస్తువులను బట్టి ఆ వాడే వస్తువుల ధరలను బట్టి ఆ దేశంలో పావర్టీ లైన్ ని ప్రతి గవర్నమెంట్ తయారు చేస్తుంది. బట్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ లెవెల్లో యావరేజ్ గా $1.25 పర్ డే పర్ పర్సన్ ఖర్చు పెడితే ఫుడ్ మీద డెస్టిట్యూట్స్ అని $1.75 పర్ డే ఖర్చు పెట్టినట్టయితే వాళ్ళు పీపుల్ బిలో పావర్టీ లైన్ అని రెండు రకాలుగా వాళ్ళు డెఫినేషన్లు ఇచ్చారు. సో దాన్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని ప్రతి కంట్రీలోన కంట్రీ లెవెల్ పావర్టీ లైన్స్ ని ఆయా కంట్రీ ప్రభుత్వాలు నిర్ణయించినాయి. ఇంకా మనలాంటి పెద్ద కంట్రీస్ లో భారతదేశము, చైనా ఇట్లా వాటి కంట్రీస్ లో డిఫరెంట్ రీజియన్స్ లో అంటే స్టేట్స్, ఈచ్ స్టేట్ లో స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్ సరిపోయేటట్టుగా ఆ స్టేట్ లో ఉండే వస్తువులు వాటి ధరల ఆధారంగా స్టేట్ లెవెల్ పావర్టీ లైన్స్ ను కూడా నిర్ణయించడం జరిగింది. మనకి ఇండియాలో అయితే దండేకర్, రత్ లాంటి వాళ్ళు మొదట్లో ఈ పావర్టీ లైన్ ఎస్టిమేట్ చేశారు 77 నుంచి కూడా. ఆ తర్వాత గవర్నమెంట్ ప్రతి 5 ఏళ్లకు ఒకసారి నేషనల్ శాంపుల్ సర్వే ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ద్వారా కన్జంప్షన్ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్ ని ఎస్టిమేట్ చేసి ఆ కన్జంప్షన్ ఎక్స్పెండిచర్ ని బేస్ చేసుకొని పావర్టీ లైన్స్ ని ఎప్పటికప్పుడు అప్డేట్ చేసుకుంటా ఎంతమంది బిలో పావర్టీ లైన్ ఉన్నారు అని క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తూ వస్తుంది. ఆ తర్వాత ప్రభుత్వమే ప్రైస్ ఇన్ఫ్లేషన్ బేస్ చేసుకొని, కన్జ్యూమర్ ప్రైస్ ఇండెక్స్ బేస్ చేసుకొని పావర్టీ లైన్ ఎప్పటికప్పుడు అప్డేట్ చేసుకుంటూ పీపుల్ బిలో పావర్టీ లైన్ పర్సంటేజెస్ ని ఎస్టిమేట్ చేసుకుంటా పోతుంది. అయితే ఇవన్నీ ఒక ఎత్తు అయితే ప్రభుత్వం ఏం చేసింది, స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్ కానీ సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ కానీ ఇర్రెస్పెక్టివ్ ఆఫ్ ది స్టేట్ ఈ పావర్టీని అరికట్టే దానికోసం సబ్సిడైజ్డ్ ఫుడ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ మనకు పీడిఎస్ పబ్లిక్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూషన్ సిస్టమ్ ద్వారా పూర్ పీపుల్కి అందివ్వడంతో వాళ్లకు ఫుడ్ మీద ఖర్చు పెట్టేదాన్ని తగ్గించుకొని ఆహార వస్తువులతో పాటు వేరే వస్తువులు కొనుక్కునే దానికి కొంత మిగులుబాటు వచ్చేటట్టుగా ప్రభుత్వాలు చేస్తూ వచ్చి ఆ ఖర్చు పెట్టిన దానివల్ల వాళ్ళకి పావర్టీ లైన్ నుంచి అబోవ్ పావర్టీ లైన్కి వెళ్తున్నారు అని అంచనాలు వేస్తూ పావర్టీ లైన్ తగ్గించుకుంటూ వస్తున్నారు. సో ఆ పావర్టీ మీద ఎంత ఖర్చు పెడుతున్నారు, ఎన్ని వేల కోట్లు ఖర్చు పెడుతున్నారు అనే విషయాన్ని పక్కన పెడితే ఇన్ని వేల కోట్లు ప్రతి సంవత్సరం ఖర్చు పెట్టుకుంటూ పావర్టీ తగ్గుతుంది అని చూపిస్తున్న ప్రభుత్వాలు రుణభారంతో కుంగిపోయే సమయంలో కొన్ని లక్షల కోట్ల అప్పులు చేసుకుంటూ ఉన్న సమయంలో వరల్డ్ బ్యాంక్ కానీ లేదా ఐఎంఎఫ్ కానీ కొన్ని కండిషన్స్ పెట్టి ఈ సబ్సిడైజ్డ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ అన్ని ఎత్తేస్తేనే మేము ఫండింగ్ ఇస్తాము అని చెప్పారంట. అప్పుడు పరిస్థితి ఏంటి? ఈ పేదరికంలో ఉండే వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా పీడిఎస్ నుంచి వచ్చే దాని మీద ఎక్కువగా డిపెండ్ అయ్యారు. ఆ సబ్సిడీ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ కానీ ఎత్తేసినారంటే వాళ్ళంతా మళ్ళీ కూడా పావర్టీలోకి వెళ్ళిపోతారు. సో మనం తగ్గించుకుంటున్నాము, పావర్టీ లెవెల్ తగ్గిపోయింది, పేదలందరూ పేదరికం లైన్ కంటే పైకి వచ్చేస్తారు, పర్సెంటేజ్ ఆఫ్ పావర్టీ తగ్గింది అని చెప్పుకుంటున్నాం. ఇదే సబ్సిడైజ్డ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ గాన లేకుండా పోతే పావర్టీ లైన్ వాస్తవానికి తగ్గుతుందా? ఈ రకంగా మనం ఎక్కువ చర్చలు చేసుకోవాల్సి వస్తుంది. ఈ రకంగా మనం పావర్టీ లైన్ ని పీడిఎఫ్ మన గవర్నమెంట్ సబ్సిడైజ్డ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ద్వారా ఉండే ఫుడ్ను పక్కన పెట్టి అదే ఫుడ్ సొంత డబ్బులతో కొనుక్కుంటే వాళ్ళ ఇన్కమ్ సరిపోతుందా అనే రకంగా రీసెర్చ్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. సో ప్రభుత్వం ఇచ్చే సేఫ్టీ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ద్వారా పావర్టీ తగ్గినట్టు కనిపిస్తున్నా కూడా రియల్ గా పావర్టీ అయితే తగ్గలేదు అనేది నా అభిప్రాయం. చాలా వరకు ఎక్కడైతే ఈ సబ్సిడైజ్డ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఫెయిల్ అవుతున్నాయో అక్కడ పావర్టీ లెవెల్స్ మళ్ళీ పెరుగుతున్నాయి. ఆ సబ్సిడైజ్డ్ ఫుడ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఉన్నంత వరకు పావర్టీ తగ్గినట్టు అనిపిస్తూ ఉంటుంది. ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్ గాన ఫెయిల్ అయింది, గవర్నమెంట్ అందివ్వలేకపోయింది అనుకుంటే ఆ పర్టికులర్ కంట్రీలో కానీ స్టేట్లో కానీ మళ్ళీ పావర్టీ లెవెల్స్ పెరుగుతూ వస్తుంది. ముఖ్యంగా మనకి 2000, 2001, 2002 ఈ సంవత్సరాలు తీసుకుంటే మన కోవిడ్ మహమ్మారి వచ్చిన తర్వాత చాలా స్టేట్స్ లో పర్టికులర్గా ఈ లాక్డౌన్ పీరియడ్ లో ప్రజలకి ఆహారం అందుబాటులోకి రావడం చాలా కష్టమే. సో లాక్డౌన్ వల్ల ఈవెన్ ప్రజా పంపిణీ వ్యవస్థ కూడా నిలబడిపోయింది. సో గవర్నమెంట్ ప్రజలకు కావాల్సిన ఆహార పదార్థాలను అందివ్వడంలో కూడా చాలా ఇబ్బందులు పడాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. సో అప్పుడు పావర్టీ అనేది వాస్తవానికి ఆ టైంలో వాలంటీర్స్ గా ఉండి చూసిన వాళ్ళకి తెలుస్తుంది. ప్రజల ఆహారం కోసం ఎంత ఇబ్బంది పడినారు, ఆహార పదార్థాలను కొనుక్కోవడానికి ఎంత ఇబ్బంది పడినారు, వాటి సరఫరా ఆగిపోవడంతో ప్రైస్ ఎట్లా పెరిగింది, ఎవరికి అందుబాటులోకి వచ్చినాయి, ఎవరికి అందుబాటులోకి రాలేదు, ఇవన్నీ కూడా మనం ఒక ప్రాక్టికల్ గా ఆలోచించినట్టయితే ఈ 2-3 సంవత్సరాల్లో పావర్టీ లెవెల్స్ ఒక రకంగా పెరిగినాయనే చెప్పాలి. సో మనం 2030 ప్రాంతానికి పావర్టీని పూర్తిగా నాశనం చేస్తాము అనే టార్గెట్ పెట్టుకున్నాం అన్ని దేశాల్లోనూ. ఎండ్ పావర్టీ ఇన్ ఆల్ ఇట్స్ ఫార్మ్స్ ఎవ్రీవేర్. సో ఇది ఎంతవరకు సాధ్యమవుతుంది అనేది 100 మిలియన్స్ క్వశ్చన్. సో పావర్టీ అనే దాన్ని పూర్తిగా రూపుమాపడానికి ఎక్కడ కూడా వీలు కాదు. తగ్గించుకుంటూ పోవచ్చు కానీ పూర్తిగా రూపుమాపడానికి వీలు కాదు. ఎప్పుడు వీలవుతుంది అంటే పేద ప్రజలందరికీ అసెట్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసే సందర్భాలు గాన ఏర్పడితే, ఎకనామిక్ అసెట్స్ వాళ్ళు సొంతంగా పని చేసుకొని సంపాదించుకునే దానికి కావాల్సిన అసెట్స్ వాళ్ళకి ఏర్పడితే, అది స్కిల్ కావచ్చు, ల్యాండెడ్ ప్రాపర్టీ కావచ్చు, ఏదైనా కానీ ఎకనామిక్ ఆర్ హ్యూమన్ రిసోర్సెస్ వాళ్ళకు కల్పించాలి. సో ఇక్కడ మనం చూస్తే ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కి ఇక్కడ లింక్ వస్తుంది. మనకి ఇప్పుడు చాలా మంది నిరుద్యోగులు ఉన్నారు. ఎడ్యుకేటెడ్ అన్ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ అనేది ఇప్పుడు ఇండియాలో ఆల్మోస్ట్ అన్ని రాష్ట్రాలను పట్టి పీడిస్తున్న సమస్య. ప్రైవేట్ సెక్టార్లో ఉద్యోగాలు వస్తున్నాయి. ప్రైవేట్ సెక్టార్ ఎవరికి ఉద్యోగాలు ఇస్తుంది ఒకసారి అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే, ఎవరైతే ఇంగ్లీష్లో అనర్గళంగా మాట్లాడగలుగుతారో, ఎవరైతే స్వతహాగా వాళ్ళ పని వాళ్ళు చేయగలుగుతారో వాళ్ళకు మాత్రమే ఉద్యోగాలు ప్రైవేట్ సెక్టార్లో వస్తున్నాయి. గవర్నమెంట్ సెక్టార్లో పోస్టులు ఫిలప్ చేయడం. సో ఉన్న నిరుద్యోగుల్లో కెపాసిటీ ఉన్నవాళ్ళు, టెక్నికల్ స్కిల్ ఉన్నవాళ్ళు ఏదో ఒక రకంగా ఏదో ఒక ప్రైవేట్ సెక్టార్లో ఉద్యోగస్తులయ్యి వాళ్ళ సంపాదన వాళ్ళు సంపాదించుకుంటున్నారు. వాళ్ళ ఫ్యామిలీస్ని అబోవ్ పావర్టీ లైన్కి తీసుకుపోతున్నారు. స్కిల్స్ లేని నిరుద్యోగులు డిగ్రీలు చేతిలో ఉన్నా కూడా వాళ్ళు ప్రైవేట్ సెక్టార్లో వాళ్ళకి జాబ్స్ రావడం లేదు. సో ప్రైవేట్ సెక్టార్లో జాబ్స్ రానప్పుడు ఇంకేం చేయాలి? సో అందుకనే మన గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా వాళ్ళు ఒక 28 సబ్ సెక్టార్స్ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేసినారు, స్కిల్ బేస్డ్ సబ్ సెక్టార్స్. సో ఆ సెక్టార్స్లో చాలా మంది మనకు మనుషులు దొరకరు. మీరు కూడా ఎవ్రీడే మీ చుట్టుపక్కల ప్రాంతాల్లో మీరు కూడా వాటిని అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తుంటారు. మనకి ఏదన్నా ఎలక్ట్రిక్ పాయింట్, ఎలక్ట్రిక్ ఫెయిల్యూర్ ఇంట్లో జరిగిందనుకోండి, లైట్ పోవడమో, లేకపోతే ఒక కుక్కర్ పని చేయకుండా పోవడమో, లేదా వాషింగ్ మిషన్ పని చేయకుండా పోవడము, ఇలాంటివి ఉన్నాయంటే ఒక వర్కర్ కోసం మనం సెర్చ్ చేస్తే ఒక 5-6 సార్లు పిలిస్తే కానీ అతను రాడు. వచ్చినా కూడా హెవీ వేజ్ డిమాండ్ చేస్తాడు. సో అతను డిమాండ్ చేసేది, అతని పని అర్ధగంట ఉన్నా కూడా అర్ధగంటలో 400 ఇస్తావా, 300 ఇస్తావా, 500 ఇస్తావా అని డిమాండ్ చేస్తాడు. ఎందుకు? అతని దగ్గర స్కిల్ ఉంది. అన్ఎంప్లాయీస్లో చాలా మందికి అటువంటి స్కిల్స్ లేవు. సో ఇట్లా డైలీ మనం డే టు డే యాక్టివిటీస్లో కొన్ని స్కిల్డ్ యాక్టివిటీస్ మనకు నాన్ ఫార్మర్ సెక్టార్లో చాలా ఉన్నాయి. సో టైలర్స్ కూడా చాలా మంది టైలర్స్ ఇప్పుడు తక్కువ ఉన్నారు మనకున్న పాపులేషన్. టైలర్ దగ్గరికి ఎవరికి పోయినా ఒక ప్యాంట్ కుట్టిస్తావా అంటే ఎంత అడుగుతాడు? మినిమం 500, 600. షర్ట్కి మినిమం 200, 300. సో అతని దగ్గర స్కిల్ ఉంది కాబట్టి అతను ఆ డబ్బు సంపాదించుకోగలుగుతున్నాడు. సో స్కిల్ లేని వ్యక్తి, ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఉన్నా కూడా, ఈవెన్ పిహెచ్డి చేసిన క్యాండిడేట్లు కూడా రోడ్లలో నిరుద్యోగులుగా తిరుగుతున్నారు. బికాస్ స్కిల్ బేస్డ్ సెక్టార్స్ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేసుకొని దాంట్లో స్కిల్ సంపాదించుకోగలిగితే, ఎందుకంటే గవర్నమెంట్ అందరి పిహెచ్డీలకు ఉద్యోగాలు ఇవ్వలేదు, అందరి పీజీ డిగ్రీలకు ఉద్యోగాలు ఇవ్వలేదు. సో వాటితో పాటు కొన్ని స్కిల్ బేస్డ్ ట్రైనింగ్ వాళ్ళు సంపాదించుకోగలిగితే వాళ్ళ స్కిల్తో వాళ్ళు సెల్ఫ్ ఎంప్లాయిడ్గా తయారయ్యి దే కెన్ లీడ్ దేర్ లైఫ్ పీస్ఫుల్లీ. ఇది ఒక అబ్జర్వేషన్. దానికనే స్టేట్ గవర్నమెంట్స్, సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ కూడా ఇప్పుడు స్కిల్ బేస్డ్ ట్రైనింగ్ ఇవ్వాలనే ఉద్దేశంతో స్కిల్ అప్గ్రేడేషన్ కోసం చాలా ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ని త్రూ ఎన్జిఓస్తో కూడా చేస్తున్నారు, ఎన్జిఓ సెక్టార్తో కలిసి. సో ఎడ్యుకేషన్ మనకు ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయలేని పరిస్థితి వచ్చింది కాబట్టి మన గోల్స్లో ఏం చేసాం? క్వాలిటీ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ పెట్టుకున్నాం. ఇంతకుముందు మిలీనియం డెవలప్మెంట్ గోల్స్లో మనకు 100% ఎన్రోల్మెంట్ రేట్ కావాలి, 100% లిటరసీ రేట్ కావాలి, ఇట్లా గోల్స్ పెట్టుకున్నాం. బట్ సస్టైనబుల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ గోల్స్లో అట్లా పెట్టుకోలేము. అది ఎడ్యుకేషన్ వచ్చినప్పుడు చూద్దాం. సో పావర్టీ తగ్గేదానికి ఇంకొక నేషనల్ యాక్టివిటీ ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఆల్ స్టేట్స్లో చేస్తున్నది మహాత్మా గాంధీ నేషనల్ రూరల్ ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ గ్యారంటీ స్కీమ్. సో ఈ స్కీమ్కి ప్రపంచంలోనే అతిపెద్ద ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అనే పేరు కూడా వచ్చింది. అయితే ఎవరికి ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ జనరేట్ చేస్తున్నారు, ఎన్ని గంటలు ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ జనరేట్ చేస్తున్నారు, దానివల్ల వాళ్ళ ఇన్కమ్ ఏ స్థాయిలో పెరుగుతోంది అనేది సూక్ష్మంగా మనం గమనించాల్సిన విషయం. సో ఎనీబడి ఇఫ్ యూ అబ్జర్వ్ the MGNRGS program providing employment only for the rural poor and also some urban slum poor. So it is meant for rural. Now they are extending it to even urban slums where the laborers are working. వాళ్ళకి జాబ్ కార్డ్స్ ఇచ్చి మేము నాన్ అగ్రికల్చరల్ వర్క్కి మాన్యువల్ వర్క్కి చేసేదానికి మాకు విల్లింగ్ ఉంది అని చెప్పని జాబ్ కార్డ్స్ అయితే తీసుకుంటున్నారు. బట్ తీసుకున్న జాబ్ కార్డ్ హోల్డర్స్ అందరూ కూడా ఆ వర్క్కి వెళ్ళడం లేదు. సో మాకున్న అబ్జర్వేషన్ ఏమంటే వాళ్ళు మార్నింగ్ 8కి వర్క్కి వెళ్తే 10-11 కల్లా వర్క్ కంప్లీట్ చేసుకొని ఆ రోజు వెళ్ళిపోతారు. సో 8 to 10 కానీ 8 to 11 కానీ అంటే 2 to 3 అవర్స్ మాత్రమే పని చేస్తారు. 2 to 3 అవర్స్ పని చేస్తే ఎంత పని చేయగలుగుతారు, వాళ్ళకి ఎంత ఇన్కమ్ వస్తుంది? సో వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చే పర్ డే వేజ్ 200 నుంచి 300 మధ్యలో డిఫరెంట్ ప్లేసుల్లో డిఫరెంట్ రేట్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఫిక్స్డ్ రేట్ కూడా కాదు. సో మినిమం వేజ్ యాక్ట్ ప్రకారం ఎంత ఉంటుందో దానికి సమ్ రౌండ్ ఫిగర్ చేసుకోవడానికి ఈచ్ స్టేట్లో ఒక్కొక్క రేట్ పెట్టుకున్నారు. సో అది 200 లోయెస్ట్ వేజ్ రేట్ అనుకుంటే 300 హైయెస్ట్ వేజ్ రేట్ పర్ డే ఉంది MGNRGSలో. అయితే చాలామంది రూరల్ ఏరియాస్లో ఉండకుండా ఈ MGNRGS వర్క్లో ఉండకుండా అర్బన్లో దొరికే వర్క్కి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నారు, లేబర్ వర్క్కి, మైగ్రెంట్ లేబర్స్. సో ఇప్పుడు మనకు బాగా వచ్చిన కాన్సెప్ట్, పర్టికులర్గా ఎక్కువ పాపులారిటీ వచ్చిన కాన్సెప్ట్ ఏమంటే మైగ్రెంట్ లేబర్స్. ఈ కరోనా టైంలో వాళ్ళు చాలా ఇబ్బంది పడ్డారు. వాళ్ళు వేరే స్టేట్ వాళ్ళు, ఒక స్టేట్ వాళ్ళు ఇంకొక స్టేట్లో పనిచేస్తున్నారు. వాళ్ళకు ఓన్ హౌసెస్ లేదు, ఓన్ కార్డ్స్ లేవు. వాళ్ళకి పబ్లిక్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూషన్ సిస్టంలో కూడా వాళ్ళు బెనిఫిట్ కారు, ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళ స్టేట్లో వాళ్ళు లేకుండా వేరే స్టేట్లో పోయి పనిచేస్తున్నారు కాబట్టి దే ఆర్ నాట్ గెట్టింగ్ దట్ బెనిఫిట్.
So there is a small request in the chat box.
Sir,
can you also speak in English, sir?
Sir,
there is a small
Bilingual.
request in the chat box.
Okay.
They want bilingual, sir.
Bilingual. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
People from other states have also joined in this meeting.
Okay. Okay. I thought that only Telangana people are
No,
there.
no.
Telugu knowing people are there.
No. Lot of other
Okay.
states have also joined, sir.
Sorry. Okay, sir. I
Sure.
will speak in both
Sure,
languages.
sure,
No
sure.
problem. Thank you. So, in the case of MGNRGS program, it is implemented throughout the country, and most of the people in rural areas, they are expected to benefit from this program by taking job card and showing the willingness to work as a manual labor in the MGNRGS program. But what happened in practice, whether the rural village is nearer to urban area, they will not be available for MGNRGS program for implementation purpose. They are not going for that work. They are going to the nearby urban cities in the morning, and they are working in the city up to evening and coming back to villages by earning money. So most of the nearby villages to urban cities are entering as migrant workers in the cities. That is a migration called daily migration for employment purpose. During the nights, they will go to their homes in the nearby villages. Daytime, they will be working in urban cities. And another employment problem is interstate migration, particularly the metropolitan cities like Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata. The bigger cities or state capital cities, they are attracting much labor in the construction field. So because of the development of a specialized skill in the construction work, the laborers are migrating from one state to another state where there is a demand for their skill. So like that, during the Corona time period, these migrant workers have suffered a lot due to lack of income, due to lack of work, because of lockdown conditionalities. All the business activities were locked down and there is no transportation, there is no supply of food grains in the market. So that time they suffered a lot, and because of that reason, the hunger was increased and poverty also increased because of lack of employment in the sectors. And because of the lockdown conditions, most of the industrial workers who are working in small scale industries, micro industries or medium industries, they were completely stopped and they became unemployed. So this unemployment led to push them into poverty because of not having surplus incomes in the earlier, not having savings. They have to borrow funds and they have to feed their families. So most of the families went into debts and became people below poverty line. So poverty levels increased, though it is not measured and recognized. So then the program which was planned by the government of India to stop even this migrant labor from rural to urban, the MGNREGS failed to stop that. Why? Because the wage rate given by MGNREGS program is very low when compared to the wage income per day for the laborers who works in urban areas. So because of that low rate, the people are not willing to work under MGNREGS. They are moving to urban areas to get higher incomes. Whatever the work they do in some urban areas as a street vendor or cleaner in the resident houses, so they are getting more income than the income wage rate given by MGNREGS. So because of that reason, it is not able to stop rural urban migration. Then let us move to second goal. So second goal says end hunger, achieve food security, and improved nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. So the goal is very big, but the achievement of this goal is not that easy. So end hunger. So hunger means people not having enough food to eat. So achieve food security. So how we will achieve food security when food production is not sufficient? Then improved nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. So promoting sustainable agriculture is linked to the environment, is linked to the rainfall conditions, is linked to the water level available in the land or water table. So ending hunger has multiple linkages with environment and also agriculture. So because of that reason, promote sustainable agriculture, they say. So how do we promote sustainable agriculture? So as practice in many countries, sustainable agriculture is possible when we increase the irrigation facilities. And when we, for increasing irrigation facilities, we have to construct more dams. We have to construct multiple river projects. And we have to increase water table levels for borewell absorption, and also create more agricultural technologies which uses less water, produce more food. That is, water resistant agricultural crops should be increased. So in that reason, it is linked to research. Many agricultural research stations in most of the states, they have been trying to produce different variety of seeds which are water resistant and also drought resistant and even cyclone resistant crops. They are trying to make such type of investments in research. And in the case of nutritious food, the government is supplying through Anganwadi centers some food products to the people as a midday meal program, particularly the students who are coming to Anganwadi centers. And they are also making Anganwadi centers as feeding centers for the pregnant woman and infants and children up to the age of 5 years.
Professor, we're not hearing you.
So the governments are trying to improve the facilities of irrigation and improve the agricultural technology systems like drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, and changes the cropping patterns. Instead of single crop, multiple crops in the cropping pattern system. And these things they are making, but with modern technologies and increased irrigation systems also, we are not able to provide the required food for all the population. Because of the development of the economy, now we can observe even the sectoral ratios in the national income, say GDP percentages contributed by different sectors. When we are at the independent in 1947, our India is basically agriculture based and used to provide more than 7% of employment to the people in rural areas. And most of the people use it to live in rural areas. But what happened during the last 75 years, which was a predominant shareholder in national income, say more than 65% of national income was contributed by agriculture in those days, but now it came down to just 17 or 18% of the national income. So its contribution drastically declined from more than 60% to less than 20%. Why? Because the human resources who use it to produce the food products or agriculture products on the available land were migrated into industry sector and services sectors. And most of the people entered into the services sector, not industry sector. In the case of services sector, the population observed, the people observed, the earning capacity is much. Their average earning capacity in the services sector is many times higher than the per capita earning capacity of a farmer. Why farmers are earning very less and also sometimes earning losses rather than incomes? Net losses are there for some farmers because of failure of rainfall or drought conditions or even floods due to cyclones. All these natural calamities damaging the agricultural crop and giving problems to the agriculturists, particularly the farmers. So during such type of natural calamities, the farmers are getting heavy losses and there is no protection mechanism for that. So because of that reason, sustainable agriculture is always linked to the environmental conditionalities. So environment is always having linkages with sustainable agriculture. So we have to develop our own ecology systems and environmental systems to promote agriculture. Then let us go to the third goal: ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. So, ensuring health, we are observing that there are continuously, the health sector is developing like anything. There are sub-centers of health sectors in almost all villages and multi-speciality hospitals in all the cities, and linking health workers to even the smallest villages through public health system or primary health system, and also providing this ASHA worker services in many places. We are not able to ensure health for all the people. So where we are wrong? We have been providing all the services, but all those services are not getting the required health for the people. Even in the urban areas, if you see, one argument for why people are moving to urban areas, there are health services are better in urban areas than in rural areas. So the primary condition for the migration of people from rural to urban is, in urban areas we are getting health services in a better way. But is it correct? Now we are seeing many multi-speciality hospitals or super specialty hospitals, they are minting money, and instead of giving healthy services, they are spoiling the health also. మాకు ఇక్కడ ఒక కొన్ని హాస్పిటల్స్ నుంచి, so what they are doing is, immediately when patient goes to the hospital, they will recommend for many tests. Whether it is needed or not needed, nobody knows. They will ask the person to pay 10,000 minimum advance for admission. The private super specialty hospitals, they are minting money like anything. They are having linkages with all the technicians who provide technical services, all types of say blood test, urine test, then many tests they will write, and there is a share for doctors and technicians among these. So they are not giving good health services, but they are taking much money from the patients. So the quality of health service is not there. When the quality of health services is not available, how do we ensure healthy lives? So that became a big problem nowadays. And though the governments are trying to provide health services in many places, the people are not concentrated on government services. They are going to private health clinics. So there is the divergence among the people who are suffering with unhealthy conditions. They are not having confidence on government health services, and they are going to private services, so that they are losing money and at the same time getting unhealthy conditions. So I came to know that from many doctors while discussing in many forums like this. They expressed that when they give low dose tablets, the patient says within 1 day, if the disease is not controlled, they will come to the doctor and says that your tablet is not working on me. So give me better tablet with high power tablet. Because they are seeing many, because of media, and they are watching YouTube channels, and based on that they are having their own self-service for the health problem. Instead of going hospitals, they are taking the tablets by themselves, directly going to medical store and asking that particular tablet without proper diagnosing their disease. So such things are leading to complicated health problems. So because of these reasons, providing a well-being for all the people or ensure healthy lives is a big question. So there is a need for the health education among the people, need for involvement of more government services for providing health education among the people through awareness creation camps, etc. Then let us go to next concept. Ensure inclusive and quality education for all and promote lifelong learning. So ensure inclusive and quality education. So what type of quality we are requiring? On paper, we have maintained high quality. In the syllabus, we are preparing all the latest concepts included in the syllabus. And due to the new education policy 2020, we are allowing the people to learn not only in the educational institutions, but also through MOOCs, massive online open courses, online education systems. So, even though we are providing better textbooks, better education opportunities, but the students are not coming forward to learn the quality education. They just want pass marks. They just want higher grades. Even the parents quarreling with the teachers, why you are not giving higher grades for my student, my children? So, మాకు చాలా చోట్ల చాలా ఆశ్చర్యమైన విషయం ఏమంటే విలేజెస్కి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు టీచర్స్ కొంతమంది మంచి టీచర్స్ ఉన్నారు, వాళ్ళ దగ్గర బాగా ఎడ్యుకేషన్ నేర్చుకున్నా కూడా ఆ టీచర్ స్టూడెంట్కి తక్కువ మార్కులు వేసినాడంటే పేరెంట్స్ వచ్చి అతన్ని కాలర్ పట్టుకున్న కాలాలు చాలా ఉన్నాయి. నాకు ఒకసారి ఒక ఐఏఎస్ ఆఫీసర్ ఇట్లా మీటింగ్లో కూర్చున్నాం పక్కనే, సార్ మీరు 100% ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కావాలా, 100% పాస్ కావాలని టార్గెట్ పెడుతున్నారు టీచర్స్కి. సో ఇఫ్ యూ గివ్ సచ్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ టార్గెట్స్ టు పాస్ 100%, what the teachers will do if students did not write examination? So that collector said, the governments are giving targets for us, we are giving targets to education system. Let the teachers take care of that thing. They have to make the pass of the students by inflating the marks. So the government system itself allowing the teachers to inflate the marks and provide pass marks for all the people without failing the students. When that is the case, how do we expect the teacher will provide the quality education? Because if the teacher wants to provide quality education, he has to mark the papers based on the answers written, and he has to fail some of the students who are not performed better. But when government says don't fail, pass all the students, then what he will do? So under that conditions, even the sincere teacher is not able to provide quality education and trying to make the students to learn quality education. So that is one angle at the school level. When it comes to higher education also, because you are all matured people, if you observe, when I ask some of the students to write just a letter for leave purpose, they says we are not able to write a letter. Why? They have written letters in English in their 10th standard, a common answer for the letter writing. So they have spoke in English medium up to 10th class very well in English medium schools. But the same student who came from English education, English medium education, they failed in many papers in higher education. They are not able to speak in English. They are not able to write correct answers for the questions. So, what is the problem and how to solve that problem? Because both, let me commit myself as a senior teacher. both teachers and students not interested to learn. Why I'm saying this, young teachers who are coming now, they will open their mobile and open the concept, and by seeing the mobile, they are explaining the concept, not reading the standard textbooks, because there is no time for them to read standard textbooks. And standard textbooks are not purchased by them. And in many libraries, the government is not giving sufficient money for purchase of standard textbooks. So when there is no need for reading a standard textbook and everything will be available on mobile or internet, they are taking that. And based on those concepts, they are delivering their teaching materials. And they are not observing whether a student is listening or not. In many classes in higher education system, I observed the students are not listening properly. When the teacher is teaching, they will chit chat through mobiles with somebody else, and they may be thinking about their own programs in movies or something with their friends, not listening to the teacher. In both ways, our education system, though it is very good and excellent on paper, was not able to deliver quality education to the people and not able to absorb the quality education by the students. In both sides, there are mistakes from the student side and also from the teacher side. So there is a need for some reforms in the education system, not only in making textbooks and changes in the syllabus and providing online opportunities to learn, but during the implementation process, there is a need for strict implementation. There should not be conditionalities among the teachers to pass the students, though he is not having the skill. So such type of awareness should be needed through capacity building programs. So in our state, recently, our state government introduced compulsory English medium for high school students. All the teachers who taught in Telugu medium for more than 20 years and 25 years, they have to teach in English medium now. Most of the teachers forgot English language itself because of not practicing. So because of Telugu medium, they used to teach in Telugu, they read Telugu textbooks only, and they forgot all their English textbooks and English language. Suddenly now when they are happen to be teach in English language, they have to learn first. So such type of problems are there in the education system itself. So that thing need to be taken care of and need to be controlled and give proper training for the teachers and make them capable to teach. So there are many capacity program buildings are needed nowadays to ensure inclusive and quality education, because now recently Akash Byju's, one firm, online firm, also had contact with our government to provide quality education to the school students up to 12th class. So they have developed some materials and they are easy to understand, and some teachers are also downloading their text and giving training to the students. But they are now coming forward to supply even the laptops for the students, higher classes, and making them to learn online. So these are some of the developments are there, but the implementation process will take more time for this. So such type of problems are there, and there is a need for promoting lifelong learning concept, because a teacher is a lifelong learner, that everybody has to observe it and follow it. So they have to update first themselves, and they have to give training for the students. If the teacher is committed, he will learn the latest developments on his own without any pressure by anybody, but give his best to the students. But there is a need for the students to observe that. The students has to come forward to learn the things properly. Then only this quality education will be possible. The next one is achieve gender equality and empower women and girls. So here we can say this is almost now possible because of 33% reservation of women in the education system and also employment system. Then allowing women to become entrepreneurs in almost all the fields, and providing a specialized women universities and women educational institutions, particularly in the education system, that gender equality is already arrived in most of the cases. Most of the variables, it is now already there. Even in the, if you observe in the private sector, particularly the software companies, if you go and visit the working place, the women are dominated men. More women are working in software companies than men. So they bypassed men. So women and girls are preferred by the software companies than boys and men, because they are performing in a better way than men. So because they are not only taking 33%, they are taking more than 50% women. So because of that reason, in the employment case and education case, we have almost reached gender equality in most of the variables. And because of the self-help groups and providing zero interest loans for women self-help groups, they are empowered by themselves, involving in micro businesses, starting micro enterprises, and income earning activities. So particularly because of these programs, the women are empowered now, and they are appearing in almost all the fields of the society. But there are some problems for them. Those problems should be taken care of by the government by giving some protection for the women who are suffering with some woman trafficking like that. And women are, in the case of health services, there is a need for more concentration on women health services, particularly because of compared to men, women are malnutritious and girls are malnutritious. They are more in number than men and boys. So there is a need for providing better nutritious food for women, particularly the adults and girls, which needs much nutrition. Let me tell you one example from my side only, because it's a practical in my family itself. My daughter was away from the house for her education at intermediate and at BTech programs. After completion of the BTech program, she became anemiatic, and she fell down some 3 to 4 times on her own without knowing. So I took her to some government doctors and private doctors who are specialists. So they said she is suffering from many health problems, epilepsy like that. Then they gave tablets for controlling of epilepsy, but that was not controlled. Then I went to Bangalore Apollo Hospital, and one of my friend was there as a doctor. He said, no need to worry about, let us have common health checkup. So after getting common health checkup, he told me that she is suffering from malnutrition, not with the epilepsy. So because of she is away from the home for 2 plus 4, 6 years, she did not got nutritious food in the hostel, because the routine food they may not be eating properly. And because of the tension also, they will not eat properly. So because of that problem, he gave only multivitamin tablets for 1 complete month, 30 days. Then all her nutritious problems were solved. So there is a need for proper diagnosing the case in the health sector, particularly for women who are suffering with anemic conditions and malnutrition conditions. So that is required in the health sector for women's case specifically. Let me go to next one. Ensure access to water and sanitation for all. The 6th. So access to water. What type of water? There are 2 types. One is for drinking purpose, another is for irrigation purpose. So to develop agriculture sector, irrigation water is required. To develop health and sanitation conditions among the people, quality of drinking water is required. So how much quality drinking water we are having, and how much irrigation water we are having? So is it accessible to all the people, whether it is in rural areas or in urban areas? And how the government is supplying the drinking water facilities, and how the government is able to supply, and what are the conditionalities? So I have observed in many places, there is water, but the maintenance of water is not properly done. There are municipal services or the village services. They are supplying water, just putting on the motor, the water is available and flowing on the road. There is nobody to procure that water on the roads, public taps. The road water is wasted. That is taking place in most of the times. So the people should be responsible for wastage of water in many places. And in the case of supply of water also, the quality of water is not possible to supply in many cases, particularly during rainy seasons. Even our piped water, which is coming to all our houses through piped system, is not 100% healthy. We have to again make it healthy by using RO system or some other systems. In the case of sanitation also, who has to maintain sanitation? The public has to maintain sanitation properly in most of the places. because the sanitation conditions, the government is there in urban areas. Urban sanitation services are improved little bit, and particularly the public toilet system, though it is there, it is not properly maintained. So ensuring accessibility to water and sanitation is one problem, but its maintenance is more problematic than providing services. So maintenance services are needed more taking care. Let me go to next one. Ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. So we used to have only electricity in the olden days, tidal electricity and thermal electricity. These are the traditional energy services that we used to have. Because of modern technologies, development of alternative energy resources, particularly the wind energy, the solar energy, and gas energy. Now we are able to have affordable supply of energy for many places. Because of development of solar, particularly in most of the areas where there is sufficient sun rays, they are developing solar energy panels and they are producing them and transferring into electrical energy systems through a transmitter. Because of that, the supply of energy for all the people due to the government subsidized programs is now becoming possible, but not 100% access, but accessibility has increased. In almost villages are electrified now, urban cities are electrified, but here and there during summer seasons, the electric cuts are there, which is damaging the agriculture system. Because of power cuts, most of the farmers are suffering, unable to provide proper irrigation for their crops during power cuts. So that is giving some problems. So agriculture sustainability is also linked to the energy sector now. Because of irrigation from bore wells is linked to the electrical pump sets. So if the energy failed means, if electric supply is failed means, the farmers are not able to provide irrigation to their agricultural crops, though there is availability of water. So that is another problem with ensuring electric supply for all the agricultural pump sets without any interruption. That is required. Then next one is promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment, and decent work for all. So this 8th objective is taken care of by most of the governments, making their economic policies as inclusive growth policies. Even in our say 11th 5-year plan, 12th 5-year plan of India, they started inclusive growth concept. So what is this inclusive and sustainable economic growth? So what needs to be included? When the question of what needs to be included, we have to see what was excluded. If we identify what was excluded, then there is a possibility for inclusion. So we have to observe which sector was excluded in the economic growth field. So in India, we observed that agriculture sector was excluded in the mainstream economic growth because agriculture sector was not provided sufficient investments in comparison with service sectors. So because of that reason, the priority was given to develop agriculture sector during 11th and 12th five-year plans, and that is continuing in the post 12th five-year plan also. And in the case of employment, the MGNREGS program was developed to provide employment to the many people, and it is not working out properly. So because of development of urban cities and migrating people from rural to urban cities, this particular program failed. Still it is working. They are providing employment opportunities for non-agricultural season to the non-agricultural labor who are willing to work. Even sometimes agriculture labor are also willing to work and they have taken job cards. So this program is providing some employment opportunity for the rural people and also some urban people who are willing to work manually. But it is not decent. So the decent work means the work should have earned enough money for them to feed their family. It should give decent wage, not minimum wage. It should be comparable wage. So the person should be comparable in its wages with the other people. So wage rate is always relative. So if a person who is working under MGNREGS, if he compares the income of the person who is driving auto, the income of a person who is selling the goods on the street, that is street vendors, and income of a person who is serving in the houses as a housemaid. So these people are getting better wages for their work than the people who are working under MGNREGS. So because of that reason, most of the people, they are not going for agriculture labor work or MGNREGS work. They are going for urban employment work. Whatever the nature of work it is there, they need some employment and get higher wages. That is there. So because of that reason, promoting all the sectors included for sustainable economic growth is lagging behind. Some sectors are developing at a higher growth rate. Some sectors are lagging behind. And then build resilient infrastructure for sustainable industrialization, foster innovation. And here, the infrastructure development is required. So what type of infrastructure? That should be a resilient, that should be sustainable, and that should invite industrialization in the economy. So the faster innovation should be needed. Innovative technologies should be adopted properly. So because of development of ICT facilities, mobile technologies. Now we are moving ahead with technology field. Even the agricultural innovations are there. The farmers have to adopt them. Because of non-availability of agriculture labor, particularly the farmers facing the problem is not the seeds, not the electricity, but it is the labor. Because most of the agricultural laborers are migrated to urban centers. They are getting a huge problem of agricultural labor by the farmers. There is nobody to work in the agriculture field now. So most of the laborers migrated to urban areas to work as construction worker or to move as street vendors. So they are getting some form of employment in urban areas. So the agricultural laborers are not available nowadays in the required quality and quantity. So that is the basic agricultural problem nowadays. So because of that reason, now the agriculture sector is modernized and mechanized. They are going towards mechanization. They are going towards modernization. Now they are using tractors, harvesters for doing agricultural production. So because of non-availability of agriculture labor for the given wages. So the people are moving to urban areas. So because of that, there is a need for development of industry in the urban areas to provide industrial employment to the people who are migrating from rural to urban. Because of that reason, if we remember, there is one program called Rurban, providing urban facilities in rural areas to control rural-urban migration. That program utterly failed because it was not possible to provide all urban facilities in rural areas. So, though the objective is correct, they are not able to successfully implement those programs. So, urban migration was continued, and if the migration go continuously, I think by getting our next census results, maybe in 2023, they may conduct census, population census. If that result may come in 2024, we get how much urbanization is there. The expectations are it may cross 50%. So more than 50% of population are living in urban areas than in rural areas. So the most development is the urbanization. So development of urban facilities, migration of poverty to urban areas. Earlier it used to say rural poverty is higher. Now we are seeing urban poverty is higher. Because only poor people are migrating from rural to urban. So urban poverty is increasing. So urbanization of poverty is taking place. Then let me go to the next one because time is up. Reduce inequality within and among countries. So as we observe this goal, whether it is possible or not. So as per the observations, those countries who are moving ahead in the service sectors at a faster rate, they are having high growth rates and they are richer or becoming richer. The developed countries are becoming developed and poor countries are still lagging behind, they are unable to catch up. So the growth rates of their incomes have higher inequalities, and inequalities are increasing rather than reducing. So because of that reason, the goal is taking care, reduce inequality within and among countries. But whether it is possible or not, we have to see, and we have to wait for some 10 years again to observe it, whether it is possible or not. Then make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Because urbanization is increasing, urban cities are increasing, like that urban slums are also increasing. So urban slums are
Hello? Hello? Hello?
it should include all the people, and all sectors should develop in the urban areas, and it should provide safe conditionalities. It needs more police power. It needs more protection for urban people. So urban services are at higher demand than rural services now because of migration of poor people to the urban areas. Then the 12th is ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. So this goal indicates the patterns of consumption and patterns of production should be sustainable. So what consumption standards are there? What type of consumable goods are available, and at what rate they are available? And what type of production is going on, and what production patterns are needed to provide sustainable conditions. So in the case, we can observe as the years passing, the non-agricultural commodities production is increasing and agricultural production is declining. Though in terms of total output, it may be increasing. When we compare with the demand, the supply and demand conditions, the supply and demand conditions are mismatched in most of the production of goods. So because of that reason, the prices of agricultural commodities are increasing on an average than industrial products. You can see even in inflation, we call it as food inflation. Why we call food inflation? Because most of the food products prices are increasing, not the non-food products. If you compare 20 years before and 20 years now, that is, say in 1991, before starting of the economic reforms in India, what were the goods available for agriculture from agriculture sector, and how much goods are available for consumers from production sector, say industrial sector and service sector. So the prices of computers have come down drastically. So if you observe the computer prices between these 30 years, even the lowest level configuration computer was 50,000 in 1991, and the highest, that particular comparable computer nowadays is coming even for 15,000. So 50,000 to 15,000. 50,000 నుంచి 15,000కి వచ్చేసింది. So that means the prices of computers are coming down, even with the modern technologies. Why? Because their production is higher than their demand. So when that is the case, the government should take care of what type of production promotion they have to give, what type of production control they have to make. So by giving subsidies, the highly demanded commodities can be produced. By giving more taxes, the unwanted commodities production will be controlled. So such type of measures are recommended by UN organization through this goal. And the next goal is take urgent action to combat climate change and impacts. So now we are coming to environment. The next all related to environment goals. Take urgent action to combat climate change. So what is change that is going ahead? And how it is impacting the economy? If you observe the pollution before Corona conditions and the pollution that now we have, the Corona conditionalities, particularly the lockdown conditionalities, stopped production of most of the chemical industries and stopped transporting of most of the transport vehicles, which emit most of the smoke, which pollutes air. So the air pollution was there at higher levels before Corona conditionalities, that is before 2020. Now it was reduced. Even the study made by some environmentalists in Delhi, they came out with a conclusion that because of closing of many industries nearer to that Manjira river, they polluted the river water itself, and they're not able to see the clean water. But during lockdown conditionalities, because of lockdown of that chemical industries, the water became purified and the water is transparent, and they are able to even drink the water in the Manjira river. So like that conditionalities are there. So our industrialization, particularly the smoke emitting conditionalities, should be controlled. There is a need for controlling points for smoke emission. There is a need for revising our transport vehicle engines with modern technology, which emit less smoke than the previous engines. So that's now we can see in our two-wheelers also, BS4 machines and BS6 machines. BS4 machines emit more smoke, but BS6 machines will not emit smoke at all. Even you can observe the latest two-wheelers and old two-wheelers, that is there. So we have to control the environment pollution by providing some controlling mechanisms. If you control pollution, automatically the greenery will develop, the water pollution will stop, air pollution will stop. Automatically we will get good quality air, which controls most of our diseases. So waterborne diseases and airborne diseases will be controlled by providing good environment, quality environment. Then next one is conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources. So our marine resources are precious and we have to use them properly, leaving some quality marine resources to our future generations. We have to use it up to the appropriate level, not to the dangerous level. So we have to conserve them. We have to conserve the biodiversity which is available around the rivers, seas, and oceans. Then next one is sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, halt and reverse the land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss. So this is very important now. Most of the environmentalists are concentrating on this particular goal. So our forests are degrading continuously because of many encroachments by the people, and because of the floods also forests are desertification. So what we need is we have to protect our trees by producing even more number of plants, planting more number of plants, and providing some water to the plants through water conservation technologies. And we have to reduce the land degradation by taking land bunds here and there, by conserving the soil without soil erosion. So by controlling the soil erosion techniques through bunding, and by providing more trees in the forest areas, and protecting our forests not to degrade further, and protecting our plants and trees in our homesteads, we will protect our environment. This is due to not only the government support, but also the public support. We can protect our environment. The next is promote just, peaceful, and inclusive societies. So nowadays, this is more important because the societies are not peaceful now because of the unemployment, because of poverty, because of the most dangerous thing is selfish mentality. The societies are damaging in more ways than to protect. So that was identified by the UN organizations. It was throughout the world. There are class struggles, casteism, and regionalism, and different isms are there because of the selfish motive and
Hello, hello, we lost your voice, sir. Hello.
So, Professor, we're unable to hear you. I think he has problems with his internet, sir. I think you can just give him a call once.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Sir, Professor Garu.
are you able to hear me now?
Yes, yes. Sir, Ramgar sharing event, sir.
18 sustainable development goals that we have to follow. So now there is any interactive session. I would like to welcome some comments or additions to my knowledge with your own experiences. They can add to me or give some questions also. Because it is a knowledge society. Let me name it as a knowledge society. Most of us are educated and working in different fields. So I expect some additions to my knowledge also. Please.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. What are the-
Professor Srinivas Garu, we cannot hear you.
It's okay.
Yeah. We can hear.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, James. తెలంగాణ జనవేదిక భారతదేశంలో సుస్థిర అభివృద్ధి గమ్యాల చర్చనీయాంశాలు సవాళ్ళు అనేటువంటి అంశం పైన ప్రొఫెసర్ భావయ్య గారు సుమారుగా 1 గంట 45 నిమిషాల సమయం పాటు వారు సుదీర్ఘమైనటువంటి లోతైనటువంటి విశ్లేషణ చేయడం జరిగింది. ప్రధానంగా 2030 సంవత్సరం వరకు ప్రపంచంలో 17 రకాలైనటువంటి సుస్థిర అభివృద్ధి లక్ష్యాలను పెట్టుకోవడం జరిగింది. అందులో భాగంగా పేదరిక నిర్మూలనతో పాటు ఈ దేశం లోపల ఆకలి అనేటువంటిది లేకుండా చేయడము, అందరికీ ఆహారాన్ని అందించడము, ఆహార భద్రత కల్పించడం, పోషకాలతో కూడినటువంటి ఆహారాన్ని కల్పించాలనేటువంటిది ప్రధానంగా చెప్పుకుంటూను వారు హెల్త్ కు సంబంధించి ఆరోగ్యము, ప్రజారోగ్యము, అందరికీ కూడా వైద్య సౌకర్యాలు అందించాలి. అదే విధంగా క్వాలిటీ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కూడా ఈ దేశంలో ప్రజలందరికీ అందించవలసినటువంటి అవసరం ఉంది అని చెప్పుకుంటూనే ఆ తర్వాత మంచినీరు మరియు పరిశుభ్రతకు సంబంధించినటువంటి విషయాలను కూడా వారు చెప్తూ మరొక విధంగా ఆధునిక తర విద్యుత్తును అంటే మోడర్న్ పవర్ ను కూడా యూజ్ చేయాలనేటువంటిది ప్రధానంగా వారు చెప్పడం జరిగింది. అదే విధంగా పారిశ్రామిక అభివృద్ధితో పాటు వ్యవసాయ రంగ అభివృద్ధితో పాటు సేవల రంగం అభివృద్ధిని కూడా కొనసాగించాలనేటువంటిది చెప్పుకుంటూనే పట్టణీకరణ అనేటువంటిది పెరిగిపోతుంది ఇవాళ అనేటువంటిది చాలా ప్రధానంగా చెప్పారు. పర్యావరణ సమతుల్యత, వాతావరణ మార్పులు కూడా వారు ప్రధానంగా చెప్పుకుంటూనే సముద్ర సంపదను కాపాడుకోవాలి, భూమి పరిరక్షణ కాపాడుకోవాలనేటువంటిది, శాంతియుత సమాజ స్థాపన చేయాలనేటువంటిది కూడా ప్రొఫెసర్ భావయ్య గారు తెలియజెప్పారు. వారికి తెలంగాణ జనవేదిక తరఫున ప్రత్యేకమైనటువంటి ధన్యవాదాలు సార్. ఇప్పుడు ఎవరైనా మిత్రులు ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ కానీ ఏమైనా ప్రశ్నలు ఉంటే సూటిగా డైరెక్ట్ గా వారిని సార్ను అడగగలరని మనవి.
అశోక్ బాబు గారు.
అశోక్ బాబు గారు, పెండ్లి అశోక్ బాబు గారు.
Yeah, Ashok Babu garu, please go ahead. Hello, Ashok Babu garu. Ahmed, do you have anything to ask? I don't think anybody has anything.
Okay.
Yeah, James, you have anything to ask? You have any comment?
Ashok Babu sent a message.
Yeah, I am unable to.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Bhavaya. That was extremely in-depth, drawing from a lot of your personal and practical experiences. Your talk was very enlightening for us, because almost on each of these goals, you have given a comprehensive explanation and informed us the nuances of each one in our Indian society, and how we should be dealing with it and the current situation. And thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us on this very vast subject. I just have one comment, sir, is that
Sure.
now uh, the global system is a capitalist system, and somehow uh, all these 17 sustainable development goals are, in a way, are in clash in clash with this system, because you have in one way you have this very system which focuses only on profits and accumulation, and here again you have all these goals, and it somehow looks like it is a framework for only a certain percentage of the population on the globe, which is a large percentage of the globe. And it has been very enlightening, sir. And I have one question from Ms. Swati Mishra. She was unable to attend, and she texted me her question, and she wanted to ask you, um, currently major funding has been withdrawn from forest research sector in India. How will that impact India's economic and environmental development? Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, question, sir. Forest investment.
Okay, currently, major funding has been withdrawn from forest research sector, research sector in India. How will that impact India's economic and environment development?
So here, the expenditure on forest research. Forest research, is it? Foreign.
Yeah, forest research. Yeah,
Okay.
for the funding on forest research has been withdrawn.
Forest research. Actually, the environmental conditions in the Indian economy, they are trying to do some research on biodiversity, which needs to be developed in the forests. Either because of the animals, there are so many animals are there in forest. Actually, how they will live, where they will stay, and how they will move, like cheetahs and the lions, which are popularly available in particularly the Papikondalu area. So like that, in many places throughout the country, in forests, most of the animals used to live, but some type of animals are not available nowadays. So why they are not available and where they went, that particular species are not there. Because in olden days, we used to see many species of birds, the forests. Many type of birds used to sing many type of sounds. Like we used to listen and enjoy it. And such type of birds are now disappearing. Why they are disappearing and what are the reasons for that? What environmental damage leads to damage of that particular species of the animals? So some research found that particularly this ICT facilities, particularly the transmission mechanisms of telephones, they will provide some environmental damage to some type of birds like sparrows. So such type of research they used to do in forest areas about forest diversity and forest biological conditions and animals. Not on animals, but also on some type of plants which are used for medicinal plants, you can say. There used to be many medicinal plants in olden days. Those plants are used by Ayurveda particularly for treating many type of diseases. Because of this environmental damage and ozone layer damage, such type of plants are disappearing. And because of not available sufficient water resources also. Even in the forest areas now the water is not there because the rainfall is very scanty. And because of soil erosion and forest degradation, this type of water, we can say water tanks in the forest. Here and there, there used to be water tanks. And those also disappeared because of water depletion and the groundwater is not available. So that particular animals, they are not finding the grass for them, food for them, and also even the water for them, sufficient quantity. Because of that reason, they are disappearing. So they used to give some funding for the research organizations who develop research on plants and animals in the forests. When we withdraw that, such type of research, particularly on medicinal plants and some species of animals, there is no chance for development. There is no chance for development of modern technologies which are suitable for that. So that needs to be continued because of need for protection of the forests, because of need for development of biodiversity, because of need for development of many species of birds and other animals. The research should be continued. It should not be withdrawn. So even the international organizations are not withdrawing the funds. They are supporting the increase of the funds. Because of non-sufficient funds for the research, because the diversion of funds for the populist programs. Because now the governments are concentrating more on the populist programs which catch more number of votes for them. They are diverting these research funds for that particular programs. Because of non-availability of funds, there is a huge demand for populist programs and social safety nets. They have to divert funds from some other sources. So they are diverting these research funds to the like that. That is one reason for that. Because the governments are not able to fund the research programs on forest. They feel that the development of safety net programs for the population is more demanded than forest research. So because that policy change, they diverted the fund from the forest research to the socialist programs.
Thank you,
That,
sir. Thank you.
that is my
Manoj.
opinion.
Manoj.
Good evening. Good evening, all. And thank you, Professor Bhavaya Garu, for giving your beautiful, what you call this, your personal experience or your vast experience in Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia and all that. Thank you very much, sir. Of course, this 17 goals, whichever you told, if these goals really go to the poorest of the poor in our country, because our country is still developed in the developing countries. If these 17 goals, as you said, by the UNDP program and all that, if it reaches the poorest of the poor, we hope it will be very happy, sir. And thank you so much, Ramana. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So before we close, I have one question.
Sir.
The thing is, there's a huge resentment amongst the youth now. This youth, neither they have skill nor they have an employment. What will happen to this youth tomorrow? Are they going to go with something like Arab Spring, where they have revolted against the governments. And one more thing is, there's a huge disparity of wealth amongst the amongst the people now.
Yes.
As an economist, what is your opinion? How are we going to, how governments should address this disparity of wealth?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, your observation is right. Even we are also observing that income inequalities are increasing. Not only income, regional inequalities are also increasing. And richer are becoming richer, poorer are becoming poorer. That is a slogan even we heard 75 years back, and it is still true now also. You can see the capitalists, though they are in a small group like Ambani and Reliance people. So the Reliance people captured almost all markets, all sectors. If you observe closely, they are able to even influence the governments not to support BSNL. The BSNL, though it is a large network, it has a large network and it has the capacity, but the government is not allowing BSNL to give 4G services in many places, 2G services in many places, just because they want to close down BSNL and support the private sector like Jio or Airtel. They are getting more benefits for providing their services through the government help indirectly, just for not allowing BSNL to provide the same services to the people. That is one angle. Why the richer are becoming richer is with the help of the government only. The government policies are supporting them. And the poor people, they are trapped by the rich people. You can see in the agricultural marketing, say some vegetable markets, they will go to either D-Mart services or Reliance Mart services, most of the consumers, because the consumers feel that most of the goods used by them are available in one particular place. That is one angle. Then they are giving some benefits. So the benefits are trapped most of the consumers. If you purchase, say, 2,000 rupees worth of commodities, we will give this as a free good. So such type of things, they are attracting consumers more, and indirectly they are getting more and more profits at the cost of the market vendors who are selling on the agricultural markets, say Raitu Bazars or something. Why the Raitu Bazar concept is failed? Because the people who has to come to the Raitu Bazar and sell their products, they are not coming because the consumers are not going there. Though they are selling with lower prices than the Reliance Mart, the consumers are going to Reliance Mart to purchase vegetables, not to the Raitu Bazar. So the capitalist mentality, they know the psychology of the consumers. By giving small gifts, they are getting more profits. And since poor people are not able to give such type of gifts, small business people, they are not able to attract the consumers. This is one example for that. So the capitalist society is able to attract the consumers and provide the benefits at first and kill the small business people indirectly, and they will swallow all the profits. This is one example. And the people who are in the poorer sections, who are not able to go in far distance and purchase majority of the goods, their needs are very small. So they will be purchasing from their smaller business people. So that is going ahead. And such type of things are not attractable for the small people and small business people. And consumers are attracting towards the capitalists and their say gifts and other things. That is there. And the small people who are using micro enterprises or small enterprises producing the goods, they are not able to get their customers because they have to sell to these markets. Yeah, they have no their marketing strategies, and because of their smallness, they are not able to provide their goods at cheaper prices. So they are suffering. So like this type of tendencies, even the people, consumers, they are providing benefits to the capitalist, not to the small people. Such type of things are there. So because of that reason, the poor are becoming poorer, and are becoming richer, and inequalities are continuing. So because of these inequalities, the achievable situations of this sustainable development goals are also a millennium question. So the targets are there, goals are there, but on paper everything is there. But in practice, whether we are able to achieve them with this income inequalities is a big question.
Thank you. Thank you.
My
sir.
opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So-
I, on behalf of myself and all of the members of Telangana Jana Vedika and invitees, I profusely thank Professor Baswaya for addressing this forum and also enlightening us with his insights and his practical experience. And I also thank Professor Kandakatla Sudhakar, Professor Rishikesh Rao, Professor Vijay Prakash, and all the other members who have attended this meeting and have gained some knowledge, I believe. And I thank you. And yeah, Professor Dr. Sri Ashok Babu has shared some thoughts in his chat box. I would like to read out them. It's a great lecture on this topic, though it is arranged second time in on this forum. Professor Bavaya sir has covered each goal lucidly. And from the point of view, India particularly from urgent need to focus on agriculture sector. My mobile is sorry, okay. Integrated, we need to focus on unemployment of educated youth and not finding decent jobs and or salaries. Integrated computer technology to be applied to all activities of human beings to extend all facilities to achieve the goals of accessibility of food, education, health services, water, natural resources, for which government shall provide good governance to the society and its citizens. Okay, thank you, Ashok Babu Garu. I have shared your
I also
thoughts.
thank him to give his comment, elaborative comment.
Yeah,
So
thank
my
you so
thanks are
much.
due to him.
Yeah, thanks so much. We'll
Thank
meet.
you very much, sir,
Yeah,
for
thank you.
providing
Thank
this
you.
opportunity.
Yeah, we'll meet.
Sharing my views with all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank
It was
you.
it was a great